Good afternoon slash almost evening. Friday, May 23rd, 2025. The day that yours truly turns 41 years old. Turned 41 years old. I am no longer just 40, I am officially in my 40s. Got out of bed kind of late this morning, around 10:45, actually probably closer to 11. Spent some quality time with the one that brings me so much joy. I did an oil change on my bike, engine oil and primary. Drank a couple beers with it. By the time I was done with that, which I've mentioned this before, man, I just can't decide if I want my visor up or down. I've mentioned this before, when I drain the oil, I pull the plugs and I find something else to do for about an hour. I want to drip as much of that old oil out as I can. Drained all the oil, put new in. By the time I was done, we were sitting around 1:50 p.m. We were going to run to Cattleman Steakhouse for dinner. Left the house about 2:15, went and took care of that. Got home, took a couple hour nap. And now I'm going to go get a birthday beer at a brewery in Edmond, Oklahoma. I spent quite a bit of quality time with the bike here in the last couple of days. See, I posted a video from Dan's Old Time Diner, I think was the name of it. And that day, I'm pretty sure I posted the video the same day that I made it. I also picked up some brake pads for this. My rear brakes were starting to squeak. So I figured they were severely overdue for a changing. I knew I needed new tires fairly soon, so I didn't bother changing the brakes yet. Well, I started getting a weird vibration in my front end, only in a curve, so I knew it wasn't bearings. And it started happening after I'd hit a giant mound of dried up concrete that road construction workers here in the great state of Oklahoma just left in the middle of the damn interstate just east of Tinker Air Force Base going westbound on I-40. And I just replaced my front wheel from a giant hole in I-40 2 years ago, and this giant dried up concrete that I couldn't see because the sun was directly in front of my face has now dented the new wheel pretty bad, but it balances, it holds air, tire stays on the bead. And the front tire also had a slit in it perpendicular to the rotation. I don't know if it was the brakes or if it was the tire or if it was the wheel being out of balance because of the bend, but it was a very, very high frequency vibration that I could just feel in my hands. I couldn't even really hear it. So I went ahead and ordered tires from Revzilla. The only tires they had in stock that were the right size for this were Michelin Commander 3s, except for Shinkos. I didn't bother looking at Shinkos. Shinkos are garbage. Ordered those Tuesday of last week. They were scheduled to be delivered Friday morning, and I'm off every other Friday, and that was one of my Fridays off. So they did arrive in Oklahoma City at the FedEx hub at 6:34 a.m. according to the tracking number. So I went ahead, and when I got out of bed that Friday, I took the wheels off the bike and put them in the bed of my truck, waiting for the delivery. Friday goes by, no delivery. Date updated to Saturday. Wait all day Saturday. Saturday goes by, no delivery. Delivery updates to Sunday. Wait all day Sunday, no delivery. Date just goes away on estimated delivery. So Monday, I called FedEx, just the general 800 number, and told them I was missing a shipment. They said, okay, we'll investigate. Somebody called me Tuesday, probably around noon time, and asked me what the delivery was. I told him it was motorcycle tires. I said, okay, well, we've got a couple of tires laying around. Like, just laying around, huh? They called me back another hour later or so, and they asked me what the brand was and what the size was. I told them that, and they just said okay and hung up, and that was the last I heard. So Wednesday I checked the tracking number. It finally has a delivery date. I'm getting something Wednesday afternoon. And as luck would have it, my wife took off to Oklahoma Heart Hospital to get some blood work done, and not 2 minutes after she leaves the driveway, FedEx shows up with my tires. A week and a day after I ordered them. I knew this because I checked the security cameras. I got a notification that there was movement. So I looked at my front door camera, and I had this nice little half wall on my front porch, where it's a really convenient place for delivery drivers to hide things from the street, so suspected porch pirates don't know there's anything there. FedEx is awesome at leaving things way out in the open for anybody to see, almost as if they're doing it intentionally. Luckily, they were not stolen. I called the wife and told her that they were there. She said, all right, I had some plans to go look at some furniture after I was done with the blood work, but I'll just go straight home. I said, thank you, and she got home before anything was stolen. So I had tires. So the bike was sitting in the garage for the entire weekend, on the jack, no wheels, and you know, would have been the perfect time to install the brake pads. Would have been the perfect time to wash the wheels. But who waited until he got the new tires mounted and ready to put back on the bike before he installed the brake pads and washed the wheels? This guy. The front left brake was the first one I did. It went really smooth. Probably less than 25 minutes to take out the old pads, put in the new pads, reinstall the caliper on the rotor, and another probably 10 minutes to install the wheel. No, that's a lie. I didn't put the caliper back on yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just put in the new brake pads. These people went to the front right, and I could not for the life of me press in all 4 pistons without one of the others popping out just a little bit, which was fine for getting the old pads out, but I could not fit the new pads in and have enough room to get it around the rotor on the wheel. And I fooled around with that for a good hour before I finally just said screw it, cracked open the bleeder valve, and just sacrificed some brake fluid. And it still took some force after that. The rear wheel, the rear brake pads again went super smooth. Then I decided to go ahead and give up for the night because I didn't have a good wheel wash other than dish soap, and I did try the dish soap and it was not cutting it. So the next day I went to work, rained all day, that was fine. Hit O'Reilly's on the way home from work and picked up some wheel cleaner that specifically said on the back for neglected wheels. Mine were neglected for sure. It said spray on, let dwell for 2 minutes, spray off. I sprayed on, let her dwell for 2 minutes, got my microfiber wheel brush out, brushed them along with the dwell, and then rinsed them off. And it did really damn good. There were a couple spots left that I was able to just get with some quick detailer and a microfiber towel, and that's the first time my wheels have ever looked this good. That was a giant hole. Shit. almost shit myself there. So got the front wheel reinstalled, put the calipers on, that all went smooth, torqued down the axle, good to go. Back wheel on this thing always sucks. I say always, I've only done it one other time, but with a little bit of a fight, I got it back on there, caliper went on smooth, brakes check, wheels check, tires check. Took her for a test ride. Vibration was gone, so somewhere between the shitty old tires and the shitty old brake pads that were a lot shittier than I thought they were, as you can see here, my vibration was eliminated. So that was Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday I even took a little bit of time off of work early. It's Memorial Day weekend. I knew there wasn't going to be anything going on. I got 200 some odd hours to use or lose anyway, so. And then this morning, like I said, woke up, changed the oil, changed the primary oil, went to dinner, and now here we are. She's riding super smooth. She sounds real good. My bike does not have a gender. It's an inanimate object. And we're supposed to get storms tonight. So I'm not going to hang out long. Just probably have one beer, turn around and come home. Probably before the sun even goes down. So I'm going to Frenzy Brewing Company. Keeping in mind I'm north of home. About 10 miles. Home is just a couple miles south of Route 66. Somewhere, I know where, I've been on it. You've been on it, on my camera. Route 66 goes from east to west to straight north and south. And comes all the way up here north to Edmond, Oklahoma. And then starts going east and west again. And I believe this Frenzy Brewing Company is on Route 66. Here is old Route 66. And this actually connects up with the rest of Route 66 that goes all the way up to Tulsa. Well, it was all right. Rather than having one beer, I had 4 4-ounce beers for a flight. They were all just kind of okay. The 2 favorite ones I've been to lately are Core 4 in downtown Oklahoma City and American Solera, which is just down that way a couple miles, I think. But the biggest turnoff for any adult beverage consuming establishment is such an establishment that allows children I don't want to go drink beer and listen to crying kids. If I wanted to go drink beer and listen to crying kids, I'd go to freaking Applebee's or some shit like that. And parents that take their kids to an establishment like that suck just as bad as the establishment. But anyway, I digress. And to top that off, the kid's name was Cosmo that was in there crying, and they didn't look like the Seinfeld type. Here is a lovely picture of the beers that I had, coupled with a lovely picture of the menu so you know which ones I had. The only one I didn't really care for was the Nitro Stout, but it was okay. So I'm definitely going to get home before the sun goes down. I'm definitely going to be in comfy pants before the sun goes down. I may or may not edit this video today. We'll see how it goes. Either way, I appreciate you riding along. I'm going to shut her down here. See you on the next one.